back. So, I'm concerned here about my internet connection, but hopefully it's doing okay. I don't know, but doesn't matter. Welcome everybody. Today is a very important day, geek community. Okay, community. It's a. Honestly, I'm kind of kidding. I had no idea, but apparently it's a thing. So, welcome to National Geek Pride Day. We're gonna celebrate today by breaking down the rankings of the best geek hobbies, which honestly, we did this on the show earlier this morning, and I'll get into it in a minute, but I had a lot of thoughts about this list, so let's get into it. Welcome to the newest episode of SDW.
Super Dario World!
Like I said, we talked about this in the show earlier this morning. For those of you who don't know, I work at a radio station called Rock 105.3. And so I'm giving a shout out to Sky on this one, who did all the work for me. So I already got the rankings ready. And honestly, it makes my life easier. So I don't care. It was one of those things that as soon as I heard it, it was like, that's what I'm talking about today. I had a bunch of other stuff that I haven't gotten to, but this one just made my life easy. So I'm gonna stick with it. Also, I didn't know it was the thing. So National Geek Pride Day apparently is a thing, and it's today because today, like, what was it, 40, 30 something years ago, Star Wars came out, so I'm guessing that's why they chose this particular day. I guess I should begin by marking down the difference between what it's a geek and a nerd, because I get that question a lot. But before I get into it, let me just give you a quick reminder that any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Dario the Show on Instagram and at Super Dario World, streaming on YouTube and on Twitch at Super Dario World. If you want to join me, I'm doing Tuesdays and Thursdays streaming this week. I'm streaming right now on YouTube and on Twitch at Super Dario World. So if you want to be a part of the chat or whatever, today is going to be more of a conversational one, I guess. But like I said, I'll be breaking down the rankings, and it's a long one. I'm telling you, it's going to be a long one because it's like 80 something. I'm not gonna go deep into everyone, but I'll just share a little bit. And anyway, let's get into what I was talking about. So what's the difference between a geek and a nerd? Honestly, I've had this debate with a lot of people a lot of times throughout my life, and we've never actually come to a consensus, because to me, nerds are more people who are obsessed with, let's say, something that's intellectual and that has some kind of practical use. Now, being a nerd doesn't necessarily make you smart, but I think that it's more geared to that area. For example, somebody who's really really good with electronics, software, coding, math, stuff like that. So it's something that's actually practical. So to me, nerds are something that are into something that's kind of practical, and geeks are into something just because they love it. It doesn't necessarily have to be some kind of practical. It could be fantasy, it could be stuff like that. So and it could be honestly anything. It's just when you're passionate about something that's not particularly useful, but it brings you joy. That's the way I see it. So to me, if you're a nerd about something, there's a practical usage to it, and if you're a geek, you just love it for it's something that's, you just love it for love. And it's usually more related to arts. Not that arts are not useful, they have their particular uses, but I mean like pragmatic uses in the world. So that's the way I see it. So what would be the difference between like you can geek out, let's say, for example, on let's say some people are geeks for, like, they're sports geeks, so they know a lot of information about sports, right? They're obsessed about like pitchers, ratings and stuff like that, batter averages and stuff like that, and they know it and they're obsessed with it. And honestly, there's not much you can do with it unless, I guess, you start gambling and stuff. But there's no real practical use for it. You just do it because you love it. You're a geek in that arena. And you can be a geek for any arena. Now, nerds would be on the side, the same thing, sports, that they care about all that stuff, and they use it more for gambling. So nerds can be geeks about something, but it's a practical use, and they're obsessed with it in a way. Does that make any sense? Hopefully that makes sense. At least that's the way I see it. So there's just to me, that's the big difference. Ones are kind of obsessed with it for practical use. Ones are obsessed with this, just obsessed with something just for the love of it, just, for the passion. So that's, to me, that's the big difference. I could be wrong. Who knows? Doesn't matter. 'Cause like I said, I've had this debate several times with a lot of people. We've never come to a consensus, and honestly, we've never actually been like uber upset with the results anyway. So there you go. You can make up your own mind. But let's go through this thing. Let's go through the rankings of the best geek hobbies. Oh, by the way, want to become from the chat. Want to become famous by followers, primes, and viewers. Blah blah. Recommendation out there: buying followers not really a good idea. Because unless they're actually viewing your stuff, I think it's actually harmful for you. Because there's something I know. At least this is what happens on YouTube. So if you have, let's say, 1,000 people following you, but only 3 people watch your videos, then that actually downgrades you. It's a bad thing. So you want the people who follow you, you actually want them to see your stuff. So buying stuff is not actually buying followers is not actually a good thing. And I know it's a trick for social media, and I know that some people do it. I'm not a fan. I'm particularly not a fan. I'd rather have, like, I don't know, 10 people watch me, but that's 10 people who actually want to watch me, than have 1,000 people follow me and only 10 people actually listen to or care about what I say. So I don't know, do whatever you want, but whatever. There you go, chat there. So let's get into it. Let me just bring up here the rankings. And so it's 85 things. So let me make this bigger for you guys. So it's 85 things. So get ready for it. So actually, this is gonna be really hard because I can't actually see the list. I wasn't actually considering that being a problem. Let me see if I can fix that for myself. Just give me a second here. I should be able to fix it. There you go. All right, I fixed it. Anyway, so number 85. Like I said, this is gonna be a long one. 85, skateboarding. I guess, like I said, you can geek out in sports, and I consider like an obsession or a passion for something. Sure, you can geek out on being a skateboarder. Why not? Number 84, karaoke. Now this one is way too fucking low. So it's way too fucking. I love fucking karaoke. Karaoke is awesome. It's you can actually like live out the songs that you love, especially when you have an audience. And for those of you who have never been there, do yourself a favor, go to Japan and honestly spend the whole time in karaoke's. Because here's the cool part about a karaoke over there. Over here, you go to a bar and there's a stage, and you put your name on a little list, and you put your song you want to sing, and then you wait for them to call you, and then you go up to the stage and you sing. In Japan, what they do is you basically rent out a little room. Like imagine like a little hotel room or something, or sometimes it's smaller. And so you rent out a little room, and you have your computer there, you have your own speakers, and you have your own mics, and it's just you and your friends, and you're picking out the songs that you want. And you get like an hour or two, or however long you want to be there, you get to pay it. However, here's the kicker: when you're in there, if you pay for the drink packages, you get unlimited drinks as long as you're there. So for pre-gaming, that is fucking legit, and it's fucking awesome, and you end up getting fucked up really quickly. And it's not like over here, yeah, all inclusive, and you or you know, all you can drink and stuff, and the service is kind of slow. No, over there it's like immediate. You pick up the phone, it's like, hey, can you bring me this? Boom, it's there super quickly. So honestly, super awesome, great bang for your buck, and an awesome time. You're singing there with your buddies. You're being jolly and merry and all this stuff. So honestly, I'd put karaoke way up. I'd put it way up. I think karaoke is top 10 geek activities. I think, to me personally. 83, you got forum moderating. I'm not a forum guy. Okay, I've never been a forum guy. I've never actually been a part of any forums that I remember. I'm not a big social media guy. I'm not a big any of that stuff. To me, it's I'm a face-to-face guy. I'm not that big on interacting digitally and stuff like that. Just I don't know. It's never been my thing. If I'm gonna get into a particular subject with somebody, I'd rather do it face-to-face because it's easier to read them. And so I don't know. I've never. I don't think I've ever commented on any forum ever, so I don't know how fun this is, but it's, it's at the bottom of the list. I'm guessing it's for a reason. Next, we have blogging. I guess technically I blog, because my podcast goes on the Rock 1053 website and on my blog there, which is technically a vlog, I guess, now. So there you go. By the way, check out my blog, rock1053.com. Click on Dario. By the way, it's basically just gonna be this show. So that's where I loaded. Because I don't want to type stuff down. It's like, what up? I'd rather say it. It's way easy. Actually, no. I guess typing it would be way easier. I don't know. I like doing it this way. Anyway, so number 81, crypto. I guess you can geek out on crypto. I mean, there's meme stocks and all that stuff, but I don't know. I've been really interested in crypto right now because honestly, it hurts me. It hurts me because I think it's the way of the future, and particularly I like Bitcoin because it's decentralized. I know it's in a bit of a dip right now, but if you're in the conspiracy theory stuff, there's reasons for it, and it's also because it's tax season and stuff like that. So I'm not gonna get too deep into crypto. The point is, I like hard assets. I like hard physical stuff. Like, this is like this mouse is something that I can actually touch. Digital stuff kind of confuses me, and I don't like it. Like, I'd rather have a physical version of a game than a digital version of a game, because to me, there's actual physical value to it. So I'd rather have things that have physical value. But I do see the advantages of crypto. I like the fact that it's decentralized, and particularly Bitcoin. And I can see how it's the way of the future, particularly way in the future. Like, for example, let's say you got to since it's immediate, let's say you got to make a payment on Mars. Well, like, crypto is going to be the way to go. Also, what's going to happen when, again, we start colonizing other places, and what are you going to do with money? You can't just, like, is Earth money going to be worth something on Mars? I think it's the way of the future. I don't like it because in many ways I'm a fucking dinosaur, but I see it worth investing on. So I can understand people geeking out on that. What is it? Data that can't be copied. And so I see the advantages of it. So, okay. All right. Number 80, we have shopping. I guess you can geek out on shopping. Sure. I mean, I've more than once yeah, I'm okay. So we're talking about hobbies, and geeks enjoy buying stuff for the franchise that they like, right? Like, I bought this Daredevil hat. It's because I love the Netflix Daredevil show, and I like Marvel. So it makes sense. All right. Okay. So shopping is a geek activity. Makes sense. And if you want to add buying with crypto, sure, double whammy. So things are starting to make sense here. 79, music festivals. Definitely. Music festivals are awesome. I that's probably the thing that I've missed the most of 20 of this past year. Not being able to go to a show, because I love live. I mean, I work at a radio station for a fucking reason, and it's the free concert tickets. But I've been to Coachella, which was fucking epic. I actually went by myself. Fun fact: I was supposed to go with a friend. Then she canceled, and like last second, I was like, fuck it, I sold the other ticket, and I just went by myself, and I made friends there. It was awesome, because people are really awesome when you're drinking. So there you go. Also, I met up with other people there, and I actually ended up. It's actually a fun story. I'll give you the short version of it. One of the people that I sold the ticket to, they came with a group of friends. So my friend, her sister, her ex-boyfriend decided to go. So he randomly found a ticket, and he went over there. The dude had nowhere to stay. He had nothing. And so it was like, all right, fine. I'll take you under my wing. I'll help you out. And so I kind of helped him get back together with the ex by telling him to not get together with the ex and trying to introduce him to other girls. And obviously the girl got jealous and is like, all right, fine, we'll get back together. So love story at Coachella, I guess. But anyway, I guess I helped. Anyway, the point is, Coachella is awesome. If music festivals, definitely I can understand. It's a great activity. Doesn't matter who you are. Yeah. And I'm guessing they mean more like certain bands that are a little weird that nobody else knows. You know what? Music's music. If you love it, you love it. Moving on. Geocaching. I have no idea what this is, and so I'm skipping it. Number 77, bird watching. This bird watching, there's no fucking way this should be above karaoke. No way. Karaoke, 84. Bird watching, 77. Go fuck yourselves, whoever made this list. Or the ranking. I guess people vote on the internet. This is fucking ridiculous. It makes no sense. I like birds. Oh, crap. My battery went out. So just give me a little second here. I'm going to fix that real quick. Damn it. This has happened, what, like twice? Damn it. I'll be right back. Give me a sec. Fixed. Hopefully you didn't miss me. Anyway, what was I saying? Birds. Yeah. Listen, I like birds. If I could, I would have a hawk, but I don't have the space for it. And if you're asking me which hawk in particular, I would probably have a Harris hawk because I think that those are the ones that are easiest to socialize and who actually enjoy the company of humans. But I don't know, man. I guess it's because we don't really have that many exotic birds down here or something. I don't know. I get going to the zoo and watching an ostrich or a flamingo, but you know what? To each your own. I'm just saying there's no way bird watching should be above karaoke. Just no fucking way. Next, we have religion. I guess people can geek out on religion. And some, you know, you call people who take religion too seriously? Zealots. And I guess that's unhealthy, but any really thing that you take way too seriously is unhealthy. Geeking out on religion, I don't know, man. Geeking out as an activity. It's like, because this is a hobby. Religion is not a hobby. Religion is a commitment. It's a deep held belief. So I'm gonna disagree with this one. Religion should not be considered a hobby. If you're taking somebody that seriously that you believe it's a deity, I don't think you should take it as a hobby. Anyway, moving on. I've had very interesting debates about religion throughout my life, but I'm gonna save those for later. Ghost hunting. Okay. See, now this I can understand being a geek hobby. Because you're a bunch of fucking weirdos. Why are you chasing ghosts, literally? Like, first off, if they're real, leave them the fuck alone. They're dead already. I mean, come on, they're dead already. So, also, if they're real, what the fuck are you doing? They're ghosts. Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing you can't actually do anything with them. What are you gonna do? You just gotta be, if they can hurt you, they will. And you can't hurt them because you can't touch them. If they're not real, then you're just wasting your fucking time. So, I mean, I guess if you like chasing, invisible stuff, sure. Or if you're seeing stuff in your mind, but all right, I don't understand it. I don't like ghosts. They kind of freak me out. So, I'd rather not touch those. Again, not a big fan of it. Moving on. They don't really scare me that much, but the idea of having imagine spirits being around and then seeing everything you do, like when you're in the bathroom and stuff. That's kind of weird, right? I don't like that. It's like, hey, you know what? Just go and be dead somewhere else. Leave me alone. I'm alive. Next, we got the classic baseball cards. I'm guessing this is part of the trading card game. It's a big thing, collectible stuff like that. These actually are assets that increase in value, so I can understand any type of card, any asset that the value increases. I understand, which is usually hard assets. Next, Disneyland. Disneyland's not a hobby. I mean, I don't think these people know what a hobby is. I like Disneyland. Disneyland's fun when there's not that many people around, like when you go on a Monday during school time. But as a hobby, it's an activity for sure. And I guess there's people, all right, if you live in LA and if you have an annual pass, I guess it could be your hobby going to Disneyland. Now, it's just dumb. Like, I see people geeking out on Disney stuff, but Disneyland as a hobby? I don't know. I disagree. Next, 72, survivalism. This I understand. There's people who geek out on survival stuff, like the survival shows, survival materials. Like, I would love, I have kind of a little bit of my own little survival kit. It's not that great. I'm actually looking into expanding that and having something a little bit better, more robust, but it's expensive. And also, I'm not in the fucking woods, so it's like, is it really a priority? Not really. Like, when am I going to need this? Well, when I'm stuck in the woods. Am I ever in the woods? Not really. Why? Because I don't like being outside. So, and because also I have a million allergies, so why would I put myself out there in that situation? But anyway, I can understand it. Next, 71, we have billiards. Yes, I can understand as an activity in general. Billiards is fun. It's a fun activity. You go to a bar. Actually, you know what? Here's a favor for you guys. Great first date activity, billiards, because it gives you something to do. Now, for first dates, don't go out to dinner and a movie or whatever at first. That's actually kind of weird. Choose something where you have an activity. That way, if things are actually getting kind of weird or whatever, you can just focus on the activity for a little bit. It helps people relax. You're not completely focused on what do I have to fucking say, or it gives you something to talk about. And if you're good at billiards, which by the way, billiards is pool. So if you're good at it and the girl isn't, you can teach her, or she can pretend not to know and you can teach her anyway. It's an excuse to, it's like invade each other's space a little bit. It's fun. It's a great first date activity. Highly recommend it. Other great first date activities, I don't know. mini golf, bowling, stuff like that. Anything that keeps you doing stuff, it's always better. An activity is always better. And then the beauty of pool is that you're also in a bar, so you can have drinks and stuff like that. So or you're usually in a bar. So again, highly recommended. Next, we have also you can make a competition between each other, and you can make like bet stuff, like I don't know, drinks or whatever, truth or dare or whatever. I don't know. Like I said, fun stuff. Next, number 70, we have Mark Pleer. I guess that dude's a YouTuber. Okay, I don't know how that's an activity. I'm guessing watching his videos is an activity. Don't know who he is. Never heard of him. Moving on. 69, product testing. This I can understand as a hobby. You know, and it could be, and they give here several examples: beer, hardware, food. So I like testing out equipment. First off, love testing beer. That's great. Two of my best friends, they have a brewery, and every once in a while it's like, hey, what do you think of this? Love testing it out. It's not always great. You don't always get a winner, but it's fun. So because at least you're drinking for free. Products and stuff like that. Again, friends have different companies. Like, hey, you want to test out this equipment? Or I've bought a ton of recording equipment throughout this past year. I like testing it out because sometimes I made kind of a Frankenstein's monster. Like, my setup is kind of a Frankenstein's monster stuff, and I had to make things work one way or another. And I get it. I like doing things my own way. Maybe there was already setups that were already done, but I like doing things my own way. And I like to upgrade stuff. And whenever you buy something, you got to test it to make sure it works and stuff like that. And not only that it works for you and specifically for what you wanted to do. So I understand that as a hobby. Sure. Why not? Number 68, debates. Now, I understand there's a big difference between debate and arguing. I love arguing. Debates, I don't think I've actually been like in a debate for like a debate theme or something, because I think there's rules and stuff. I don't understand it. I'd rather just, I have a beer, you have a beer, and we have a conversation. That seems healthier, but all right, whatever. I guess people want to do that as a hobby. All right, moving on. 67, merchandise. Now, to me, this goes hand to hand with shopping. If you like something, if you're a fan of something, you gotta buy the stuff. You're gonna buy the merch, right? You're gonna buy the shirts. You're gonna buy the hats. You're gonna buy the I don't know, the phone cover. You're gonna buy the keychain, stuff like that. So, hobby, again, this whoever made this list is kind of an idiot. But all right, whatever. To me, the merchandise, shopping, hand in hand. Moving on. 66, social media. I guess speaking about what you like on social media, or going to social media to check out what you like, could be considered that. I don't usually do it because I don't spend that much time on social media. It just, I don't know, it annoys me. But I can see people loving it. It's a thing. Sure. Why not? Why not? Number 65, we have Halo 4. Now this one's weird. Because why don't you just put Halo in general, the franchise? I'm guessing what they mean is playing Halo, but here, I guess I would have gone with more general. If we're talking about hobbies, the general one would be video games or gaming. But all right, I guess they really specifically wanted to mention Halo 4. So there you go. Number 64, Deviant Art. I'm not exactly sure what this even means. I'm guessing it's fan art. Okay, moving on. 63, making fan art is fun. Like, actually, there's usually the best artwork comes from fans. But all right. 63, hanging out with friends. How the fuck is hanging out with friends a geek activity? Like, how is it a hobby? Well, I guess if you get together with certain geek friends and you're celebrating a certain thing, all right. I guess, like, I went to a Harry Potter, what was it? It wasn't a pub crawl. What is it? It was a beer fest. It was kind of a beer fest, but a Harry Potter theme. I didn't get it. And, Eric, my kid brother's here, mentioned something. This list was made by goddamn normies. Yes. Dude, Eric, check out, like, number 77, religion. Oh, no, 76, religion. So people think that religion is a hobby for geeks. Anyway, moving on. What do I have here? Hanging out with friends. 62, environmentalism. Now, I have a lot of issues with environmentalism, mainly because people don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and it annoys me. And the worst part is that they think that they know what they're talking about, and they're not actually offering any real solutions. But I don't see how environmentalism is a hobby. to me, it's not a hobby. It's definitely not a hobby. It's something that you kind of take a little bit seriously. And Eric has a valid point about religion here. Jesus was a nerd. I've heard that. And we were actually talking about the differences between geek and nerd earlier today. But thank you for listening, Eric. Anyway, so environmentalism, I would not. Okay, you know what? Sure, let's say environmentalism is a hobby. You know what? I'll give it to you. It's a hobby. It should not be above fucking karaoke, okay? Karaoke is way better than fucking environmentalism. Fight me, I don't give a fuck. Anyway, moving on. What is it? Number 61, we have Call of Duty. Same thing as with Halo. Why don't you just put video games? So I'm going to skip that one. Number 60, reading news. Sure. I like reading news, especially about the things that I talk about. Some would say that that's what my podcast is about. I read the news about entertainment, and I share it with you guys. So there you go. Definitely, I give it a good activity. 59, cooking. People geek out on cooking. Sure, I can understand that. They take their shows very seriously. They take themselves as cooks or chefs very seriously. So sure, why not? Cooking. And also there's the added bonus there that you actually end up with some pretty decent food. So why not? Sure. 58, spotting UFOs. Now, why the fuck are you telling me people just go out and try to spot UFOs? Is that a thing? Is that seriously a thing? I guess it's an activity. But, again, here's the issue. It's not better than fucking karaoke, okay? Going out and try to find fucking aliens, or at least UFOs, is not better than fucking going karaoke with your buds and getting fucked up. It's just isn't, all right? It's not a thing. Moving. Also, you know what you don't have in karaoke? You don't have the risk of fucking aliens kidnapping you. That's the advantage that you have there. Anyway, moving on. 57, martial arts. It's an activity. Sure, people geek out on it. Bruce Lee. And I'll admit it. Whenever I watch 300, I'm like, oh yeah, fuck, let's gonna fucking fight. Whenever you see, when I saw the original Mortal Kombat, it's like, yeah, let's fucking fight. When you watch 13th Warrior, you're like, oh, let's fucking fight. I get it. So, all right, fine. I'll give it to you. Martial arts. Sure. Hobby? Maybe. I don't know. But it's fun. 56, papercraft. Fuck you. Fuck you. You mean fucking origami? It's an activity, sure. And people geek out on it. But it's not better than fucking karaoke. All right? It's also not better than Halo. But, all right, whatever. Let's see the chat here. Geeks are Star Wars, nerds are Star Trek, cut from the same cloth, but one is more logical while the other is more creative. No, I guess I have to reiterate. To me, geeks obsess over something that has some kind of a practical use. Nerds obsess over something that's just for the joy of it. Like, it would be the difference between maybe the sciences and the arts. So like a geek can just obsess over something just for the joy of it, and a nerd has to have some kind of purpose behind it. You know what I'm saying? Like, they obsess for a particular reason. At least that's the way I see it. But you know what? We're never going to get to the end of this particular debate, so I'm just going to keep moving. 55, we have restoring old stuff. Sure. You know, some people like, they buy old cars. They geek out on old cars, and they like repairing them and stuff. Or I have a friend of mine who restores like wood stuff. It's actually pretty cool. Like, because it's a modern version of an old thing, and it's honestly, it's pretty cool. And you're like, this is something you would throw away that actually looks way better after it's fixed. So okay, I can understand that. 54, magic tricks. Sure. Honestly, I think this is one of like the first geeky activities out there, because I don't know why magicians were looked at as losers, but I've always thought they were kind of cool because you can do magic. So all right, I understand. Magic tricks, sure. It's always a fun thing to watch. Actually, magic shows are awesome. Mob Nasty. What's your favorite song to sing karaoke? And I'm Zachary Cruz. Yes, you are correct about the difference between geek and nerd. Thank you, Zachary. And Mob Nasty. That's a great question. So I have a lot of songs that I like. I have a lot of songs that I love to sing. I have a lot of songs that I think are my tone. I'm not saying that I'm great at it. I just think that they are my tone. And so those, I really enjoy singing those. But if I have to pick a song for kind of like getting in English and Spanish, there's going to be different ones. So in English, kind of to get, like the mood going and stuff like that, and people have fun, I'd probably go with Mr. Brightside by the Killers. Just, because it's fun, it's enjoyable. In Spanish, I usually go with Bella de Mijares. But, once, oh God, I recently did, by the way, I was beyond fucked up and I lost my voice afterwards, but I recently did The Taste of Ink by The Used, and I think I nailed it, except for I just couldn't do that. So you know what? No, actually, I really like doing the Proto Man now that I think about it. The Proto Man, for those of you who've never heard the Proto Man, it's a band. I think they're from Nashville, and they made a rock opera about Mega Man. And I think, and I've been told that I can nail Mega Man. So yeah, and Eric makes a valid point. Eric sang the song with me, Bohemian Rhapsody. That's how you get the party started, friends. That's how you get a party started, ladies and gentlemen. Bohemian Rhapsody, we did in Japan. We've done it over here. It's a party starter. So, damn it. It might be the best karaoke song out there. It's because you can't do it alone, all right? It's impossible. You can't do Bohemian Rhapsody by yourself unless you're a fucking mad lad. I'm not. And so it's something you do with your buddies and you have a lot of fun. But not my personal favorite to perform. Anyway, what am I missing here, Eric? I don't think being interested in something classifies someone as a geek. The term is meaningless at that point. I said obsessed with something. All right, obsessed with something. Anyway, Mob Nasty, Mega Man. Yeah, dude. Seriously, I highly recommend you check out the band. And I think there's videos on YouTube where they did kind of like a mini. Well, here's the issue. Since it's a rock opera, you need to read the lyrics, because between the lyrics there's action going on. So they're telling you what's happening. But if you're just hearing the song, you don't really know what's happening. Like Mega Man runs from here to here, or Mega Man saves this or whatever. And so I think there's videos on YouTube where they did like a 1-bit version of it where you can actually see Mega Man doing all that stuff. So look it up. I recommend it. It's a great band. If not, the music's just great. The first album it's with Mega Man, and the second album it's a prequel with the story of Dr. Light. Highly recommend it. Check it out. Next, moving on. Helping others. Go fuck yourself. All right? Helping others is not a geek hobby. All right? It's a good thing. You might say it's a great thing. You might say it's an important thing. But it's not a fucking geek hobby. Now, I guess some people help other people as a hobby. It's weird. I wouldn't say it's a geek hobby unless you're helping out other people with their geeky stuff. Let's say, for example, if you're really into papercraft and you're helping other people with their papercraft, maybe, but still, yeah, go fuck yourself. 52, we have graphs and statistics. Now, are you making the graphs? It depends on what. Also, what's the phrase? There's liars, damn liars, and statisticians. So, I like numbers, but you got to be careful with the statistics that you're reading, because they can be deceptive. And so, fine. I guess people can geek out on numbers. Sure. Fine. Whatever. 51. But again, none of this is better than karaoke. 51. Reenactments. Okay. Now there you have an activity. That's for sure would be like, I don't know, you know what? I'm from Mexico. Why have we never reenacted the Battle of Puebla? You know, the Battle of Cinco de Mayo. I think that would be an awesome fucking party. I think we could have a legit, really good time, but it's Mexico. We can't do that. I'm just thinking about it and like, no, there's no way you won't get mugged. There's just no way. So it would be ruined by somebody. So it would be fun. Unfortunately, I don't think it's gonna happen. Like medieval reenactments, that's fun. Next, we have 50 Wikipedia. Go fuck yourself, all right? Go fuck yourself. Wikipedia was an extremely useful tool when I was in school, but afterwards you understand that it's not reliable. It's not real. I have issues with Wikipedia. The more that I've learned, the more that I understand about Wikipedia, I have issues with it. And first off, there's a bunch of, according to what rumors that I've heard / read, there's groups of hackers who dedicate themselves to just fucking Wikipedia up. And their objective is to fuck Wikipedia up so much that it will no longer be considered any type of reliable source. And here's the thing. You just go in and do so many edits and small ones that are so difficult to catch that eventually it just, people will lose trust on it. So there's groups out there who are dedicated to try to screw that over. And so let's say, for example, like let's say a Wikipedia article about me. and it's a Wikipedia article that say like, oh, Dario, he studied film here, he works for Rock 105.3, and he makes cheese in his spare time, blah blah. So it's something little that you wouldn't even notice, but or nobody would really care. But to me, it's like, I don't make fucking cheese in my spare time. What the fuck are you talking about? That's not something that I do. So it's little stuff, but again, it fucks up what reality is, right? And it makes you an unreliable source. And also, you can't delete stuff from Wikipedia. So let's say, for example, and I've heard this story specifically. There's a YouTuber who talked about it. I think, who was it? I think it was Tim Pool. Anyway, in his Wikipedia, his Wikipedia page, it said that he invented a Zeppelin, and he didn't invent a Zeppelin, and he tried to get Wikipedia to bring that stuff down. It's like, dude, I'm the person. I didn't invent a fucking Zeppelin, but there was an article that somebody wrote about him saying that he invented a Zeppelin, and now and since Wikipedia has an article written by a random fucking nobody saying that he invented that, they use that as evidence of bibliography. Like, here's it says that you did it. He's like, I didn't fucking do it. I know my own fucking life. So I have issues with Wikipedia, and apparently it keeps getting worse and worse because it's a problem that's going to keep getting bigger and bigger. And it comes a lot from just anybody being able to write and publish an article anywhere. That's the big issue here. Anyway, point is, I want to consider it a geek activity. Moving on. 49. Traditional drawing and painting. Definitely, for sure. This should be top 10. Top 20 at least. Again, fan art and all that stuff. Drawing, art. This makes way more sense than 99% of all the things that we've read so far. And again, it should be higher. 48, movie merchandise. Again, this should be just merchandise or shopping. We've already talked about this, so I don't even know why they go in this specifically, but okay. 47, photography. Sure, some people geek out on photography. I understand that it's an activity. You can, again, you buy your collectibles, you can take pictures of it in funny scenarios. I understand that. Sure, why not? Not better than karaoke. 46, managing your music collection. Now that's just OCD. Come on, that's not a hobby. That's you being OCD, or as Eddie would say, particular. So, yeah, not gonna say it's a hobby. 45, reading the encyclopedia. This is basically Wikipedia. That's Wikipedia, but I don't know, from the Stone Ages, but I guess slightly more reliable because you can at least know that nobody edited after it was printed. I don't know. Who the fuck does that as an activity? Really? Let's move on. 44, psychology. Everybody's a fucking psychologist, isn't it? Psychology is not an activity, all right? It's a science, and then you're the psychologists who are professionals at it, but I wouldn't say it's a fucking hobby. I wouldn't say psychology is a hobby. So, yeah, I'm going to say hard no on that one. 43, crafting. Sure, again, it's art. You're making some kind of art, and it could be a craft that you're creating that has to relate to one of your hobbies. Like, I've seen the stuff that people have done for Star Wars is fantastic. I saw this grill where it's basically an AT-AT walker, and I'm like, I want that. Or what is it, like a little fire thingy where it's the Death Star. Dude, those things are cool, man. And it's like, I want to spend my money on it, but I shouldn't because I don't need it. I don't have space for a fucking grill. But it looks cool. And honest, I respect all that stuff. 42, we have searching things up on Google. That's not a hobby. Again, these people need to know what the word hobby means. It's an activity for sure. You do it, but it's not a hobby. All right? So move on. I'll just move on. 41, pets. Pets are not hobbies, okay? I need to just put that out right now. A pet's not a hobby. A pet is a responsibility, okay? It's a responsibility because literally another life is in your hands, and you're responsible for it, and you have to take care of it. So it's not a hobby. Pets, kids should not be looked at as a hobby. It's a responsibility and should be taken as a responsibility. 40, dinosaurs. Fuck yeah, dinosaurs. It's not a hobby, but fuck yeah, you can geek out on dinosaurs. Fucking yeah. I love dinosaurs. I'm a big dinosaur guy. I've always been a dinosaur guy. If you've seen my monitor lizard, actually, I have him here on screen. This is a cartoon version of him. In real life, he's actually a lot angrier, and he keeps getting a lot bigger. I'll probably load a video of him soon. I'm testing out camera stuff. I wanted to record him with the drone. Turns out, monitors don't like drones. Like, imagine Well, they don't like birds because birds eat them. And so I realized like a thing flying next to him, it's probably gonna make him freak out. So again, not a good idea. So I need to figure out something out. But I'll record a video of him soon, so you guys can check him out. He's getting big. He's a big boy and he's angry, angry face. Anyway, but yeah, I like dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are awesome. Dinosaurs are epic. Anything with dinosaurs, I'm usually a fan of, or at least I give it an opportunity. So there you go. 39 making list. Listen, I enjoy a good list like anybody else. You know what? No, I'm gonna stop myself because it can be an activity. You can make lists of the things that you like. For example, rankings of the most powerful Star Wars characters, rankings of the ugliest Marvel characters, rankings of the coolest colors in the rainbow. I don't know. You can make, yeah, okay. I can see it as a hobby. I understand it. And it's basically you're just debating what's best, or what's the best character here, what's the best character, what's the best movie here. So, all right, I'll allow it. Actually, you know what? This one should be higher because making lists is fun. Historical tabletop wargaming, sure. This is basically board games, so definitely board games is, again, top 5 geek activity to me. And I'll get into that later because I'm sure board games is gonna be here. Laser tag, sure, why not? You're shooting people with lasers. It's the future. It's the way of the future. I don't think I've ever gone to laser tag here. I had the little thing with my brother when it was basically the laser tag at home. I'm guessing it's not as fun or as good as the one that they do with like an actual laser tag places. I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a shot because I've seen some in movies and they look kind of cool. Next, robotics. Sure, robotics can be a hobby. Why not? You like robot? Listen, I don't like robots. Okay, I don't trust robots. I don't like AI. I have issues with AI. Robots, a robotic machine, I can understand it. As long as you are the one that has sole control of it, sure. Preferably manual control, because if it's I've grown warmer to it, to certain things about wireless. For example, like the drone, it's a wireless thing. And remote control cars, the wireless thing. Okay, I don't like the idea of something that can get hacked and screw you over. Like, I don't know, like a robotic arm that all of a sudden somebody else hacks and starts choking you. I have issues with it. I have issues with robots. Okay, I don't trust them. Again, probably a dinosaur in a lot of these things. I do understand the uses, and I do see how it's the way of the future. But I don't like it. Especially, but again, my bigger issue is AI more than just the robotics at themselves. Like the machine themselves is not a really big deal. It's more what's inside of it. Anyway, moving on. 35. Playing a musical instrument, sure, definitely a hobby. In general, it's one of the greatest hobbies of all time. Especially if you have the gift for it. I've never had the gift for it. I wish I had, because I love the piano. I love cello. I love the guitar, but I could never memorize it. I remember when I was in school, we had a thing called rondalla, where it's basically we were like a group of dudes with a guitar, and we had to play, and that was like our art class, right? And I would learn a song. I would spend all day practicing it, like, this is where it goes, da, 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 da. Okay, got it. The next day, I could not fucking remember the fucking song. Like, for the life of me, it's like, how does this go? And so the day that we had to present in front of the whole fucking school and the parents and all that stuff, I would just pretend. I would just pretend to be playing, and just kind of like follow my friend who was next to me, and like, this is good enough. So I'm getting my grade, and I'm getting whatever needed done here. So there you go. Yeah, definitely great hobby, especially when you're. Have you seen videos of the dudes that make just basically do rock versions of, I don't know, Zelda songs or stuff like that, or of other franchises? Those are epic. You should check out those videos. They're really good. Next, 34. Classic card games. Yeah, sure. Great activity. Card games in general. Again, card games aren't board games. It's a completely different thing. But card games in general, it's an activity you do with a friend. I guess you can play solitaire, but usually it requires a little bit of interaction. Some people get really obsessed with card games, and then they have problems, especially in their wallets. But great activity. Sure. Why not? Fixing computers. Again, sure. I would call it more of a nerdy thing, but sure. Why not? 32, Star Trek. Okay, so being a fan of the Star Trek franchise, I'm assuming that's your hobby. You're a Trekkie. I've never been a Trekkie. I've seen a few episodes of the original Star Trek and the Next Generation. I've seen the movies, the J.J. Abrams movies, and a really long time ago, I saw like the original Star Trek movies. I honestly don't remember most of them, but I've never been a Trekkie guy. I've never been a Trekkie. However, I've heard that Star Trek Discovery is really good because Trekkies hate it. So apparently, this is what I've heard. It's like it's real, and the members of the Star Trek of the main characters of Star Trek crew, they start realizing like, hey, I think the Federation is actually are we the baddies? Are we the baddies? So what I've heard is that the original Star Trek is propaganda made by the Federation, and Star Trek Discovery is like the real, like how the real world really is. So I don't know. I'll give it a shot. At least, you know what? It was a good pitch. It was a good way to pitch the show. Next, 31, we got learning languages. This is it's helpful in general. It's good because it helps you. It helps expand your mind, and it opens you up to other cultures and stuff like that. So learning things in general is a good thing. So I would just put learning in general as a hobby as a good thing. But sure, specifically learning a language, especially, here's the thing. If you're learning a language, you're going to plan to go to that particular spot. So let's say if you're learning Spanish, you're probably going to plan to go somewhere where they speak Spanish. You go to Spain, you go to Mexico, you go to Colombia, you go to Argentina. And so you will learn from the cultures of those places. So generally, it's a good thing. So honestly, it's not a bad hobby. It's not a bad thing to happen. As a hobby, I don't know. To me, again, it has a purpose. So it's difficult, but all right. I mean, if you're doing it for fun, sure. 30, live action role-playing games. LARPing. This is what's called LARPing. I've never done it. Seems cool, especially if you're going to hit somebody with a sword, because hitting somebody with a sword is just cool, man. Getting hit by a sword doesn't sound as cool, but you know, if what's the explanation? If it goes around, comes around. No, in Spanish it's si te llevas te aguantas, but I don't know how it is in English. Anyway, point is, actually, I can understand this. This should be higher probably because the people who do this take their stuff really seriously. LARPing seems fun. I'll give it a shot one day, maybe. Depends on what we're LARPing. Anyway, and if there's toilet paper, because I don't know. No, I won't take things that far. Next, 29. We got biology. Listen, biology, unless you're talking about having sex or whatever, or, you know, because we're all biological beings, I don't see it as a hobby because it's not a fucking activity. Being into something is not making a fucking activity. Again, these people don't know what the fuck a hobby is, so I'm just going to fucking skip that one. 28, model building. See, now that's a hobby. You know what? You know what's a hobby? Because it's a fucking activity. Hobbies require some kind of activity. And so either you're learning about, well, I guess you could be learning about biology as a hobby. I don't see it. I generally just don't see it. But anyway, model building, sure, I've never really been into it, but it looks kind of cool. Especially, I don't know how the hell people build ships inside of bottles. That seems kind of cool. Oh, wait. No, Legos don't count as model buildings, do they? Because Legos are fun. I like Legos. I mean, unless because you're building a miniature of something. So let's say a Lego, I don't know, Star Destroyer. It's a model. It's just made out of Legos. I think it should count. And maybe Legos are up here. Well, I don't know. We'll see. 27, manga. Sure, reading manga. It's great. I have my own little collection that I have. I enjoy it. It's fun. It really trips you out. Like maybe you can see it here. The Pokemon books, they're right there. The manga. Love them. That's where you follow the story of Red, not Ash. Ash is an idiot. But anyway, it really freaks you out the first time you do it because you're reading backwards. And it's like, what the fuck is happening? So, you know, in the US, you read from left to right. And that's how you go. In manga, it's backwards. So you start at the end and you read right to left. It trips you out the first time you do it, and then afterwards, when let's say if you read one manga and then a comic and then one, it'll just you'll be confused a little bit, but it's fun. The black and white might not be for everybody, but there's colored versions of stuff, so there you go. I like this one. 26, we got miniatures. Sure, okay. I think specifically miniatures, there's some people that get really hardcore into them and they like paint their miniatures and stuff. Like I have miniatures that come in board games. And I know there's people who actually go in there and just paint it and paint it and paint it. Okay, so sure, it's a hobby, it's an activity. It's a bit too much for me, but it's an activity. People do it and they love it. Programming, sure, an activity. Again, I would call it more of a nerdy thing, but whatever. 24, YouTube. Yeah, sure. Watching YouTube videos of things that you like, rankings. Joining me on YouTube, breaking down hobbies of things that you think are nerdy. Sure, why not? Definitely. 20. I honestly, it's the equivalent of watching a TV show about something that you like. So there you go. 23. Astronomy. Can you geek out on astronomy? I guess you can geek out on astronomy, but again, it's not. What? Wait. If you're talking about getting a fucking telescope and going out there and seeing the stars, that is an activity. So I would say stargazing is a hobby. Astronomy in general, I guess one is a part of the other. So sure, why not? Why not? 22. Fan fiction, definitely a geek activity. Definitely. And there's some pretty great fanfics out there. Great. And actually, you know what? It's fun when you get a professional writer to write them. Like one of my favorite writers of all time wrote a fanfic about Firefly, one of my favorite shows of all time. For those of you who've never seen it, Josh Whedon's Firefly. It's in the top 3 best sci-fis of all time, at least in my humble opinion. And it ended way before its time, unfortunately. But he wrote a fanfic of it. I loved it. For those of you who've read A Song of Ice and Fire and are waiting for the next book, for those of you who don't know what Song of Ice and Fire is, it's the Game of Thrones books, who've read the books and who are waiting for the fucking series to end, and who honestly are resigned to the fact that it's probably never going to end because the fucking writers started writing a fucking Broadway play instead of finishing the fucking book. You probably went to fanfics. So there's fanfics out there that actually finish out the story. And in fact, I myself started a Game of Thrones fanfic to fix the last season of Game of Thrones. I actually talked about this because people ask me a lot, like, hey, are you going to finish it? I lost the love. But I said, the moment that fucking George R. R. Martin announces that they're going to finish the book, I'll finish the reread of Game of Thrones. So that's considered a fanfic, I guess. So fanfic, definitely out there. I would maybe even put a little bit higher, but we'll see. We'll see what's out there. 21, collecting stuff. I guess this is the same as shopping, collectibles. Sure, okay. Definitely an activity, and it's definitely a hobby, and it's definitely something geeks do. I've talked about this before. Me and my kid brother, we just want to go back to Japan and just buy a whole bunch of collectibles, like just fill suitcases of them and come back and sell them and make money. But stupid borders are closed. Next, 20, puzzle games. Sure, I mean, okay. Yeah, is it a video game? Okay, I see a Rubik's Cube there. Is it a geek hobby? Sure. I mean, if you like, okay, geeks like, yeah, you can like puzzles. Sure, I like puzzles. 19, comic book shop. I'm guessing the hobby here is going to the comic book shop and going through everything. Never a big fan of that, honestly. Wait, no, because okay, I'm not a big fan of going to the mall. I have issues going to the mall. Too many people. Parking sucks. And it's just too crowded. But whenever I go to the mall, I did hit up comics and stuff. And I loved going in there, seeing all the collectibles, and maybe seeing 1 or 2 comics, maybe buying a few. So, all right. Okay. Sure. Definitely. All right. You know, definitely geek hobby. And number 18, Dungeons and Dragons. I have played Dungeons and Dragons once in my life. I did with my kid brother. And it's basically because when we were in Europe, I was helping him with the story for his campaign. And I was like, oh, this is actually a pretty good story because I'm helping you write it. But I'll give it a shot. And I gave it a shot once. It's not my cup of tea because it's all in your head. I if I'm gonna do something, like I'd rather have a board game, you know, where there's miniatures and stuff. So it's not my cup of tea, but I can understand it. It's a big thing. It's been a big thing for a while. My kid brother plays it like every Saturday. He has a campaign every Saturday with his friends. So definitely one of the top geek activities out there for sure. 17, electronics and robotics. I have no idea why they put robotics twice here. It's stupid. Number 16, cosplay. Definitely fun stuff. Halloween's my favorite holiday for a reason, man. You get to cosplay, you have to dress up. It's fun. Also, there's a bunch of hotties that do cosplay. So, yeah, definitely a fan of that. So, all right, it should be higher. 15, watching anime. For those of you who don't know, usually I do a thing on Tuesdays called Otaku Tuesday. But if you've noticed, Eric is on the chat right now. If he's on the chat, that means that he's not fucking here. So we couldn't do Otaku Tuesday, and he's in Mexico, and the borders sucked. So I don't know when we're gonna do it again. But we had this thing called Otaku Tuesday where we basically review anime. And it could be new one, it could be old one. We're just gonna go and give our thoughts on it. The point is, I like anime, and like I said earlier in this episode, but Japan's awesome. And I did it, and I can't tell you how much fucking stuff I bought. It's a problem. It's a problem. Like, maybe one day I'll go into that. 14, cartoons. Okay. I mean, it goes hand in hand with watching anime, I guess. But before you yell at me, I know it's not the same thing, all right? Not the same thing. Sure. I mean, it's the same thing. If you love a show, you watch it, right? Is it a hobby to watch a show? All right, fine, whatever. The hobby would be watching the show, I guess. And I'm gonna ignore whatever it just said in the chat. Anyway, moving on. Nonfiction books. It would be just reading books, right? Reading books is the hobby. And nonfiction's stupid. I don't like nonfiction. And it annoys me. Like, I'm gonna read somebody's bibliography that somebody else wrote for him. That's probably full of lies. You know how I know that it's probably full of lies? Because that's what my bibliography would have. I'd be like, you know what? It's not gonna be straight out lies, but there will definitely be lies of omission. Because there's a bunch of stuff that I don't want people to know, because it's called fucking privacy. So I'm assuming that everybody's going to be that way. Now, there's probably some books out there. Here's the thing. I have the same issue with nonfiction books as I have with, unless it's like something like a science book or whatever. All right, cool. Then that's, you're learning about a particular topic. I can understand it. But I'm talking like bibliographies. No, I'm not bibliographies, like autobiographies and stuff like that. I have the same issue with those that I have with documentaries. And there's somebody editing it. All right, there's somebody out there, there's somebody directing it, and there's somebody who's editing it, and they're picking the information that they want and how they want to show it to you. And so it's not completely reliable. I guess it's better than nothing, but still, I don't 100% trust it. But then again, I'm kind of a paranoid person. I don't 100% trust anything or anybody. So there you go. Next. Number 12, Warhammer 40,000 sci-fi and fantasy tabletop gaming. Okay, so I'm guessing it's the whole thing. Now, I've never played Warhammer 40,000. I do, however, play Total War Warhammer, which is a PC game, and it's actually not in the future. It's actually kind of like a medieval one, which is fun. It's got magic and stuff. It's got like lizard people. It's great. I love it. It's a lot of fun. I know that a lot of Total War purists hate it. I loved it, so go fuck yourselves. Sci-fi fantasy tabletop gaming. I'm guessing that's just board games, right? So board games, yes, definitely the best fucking geek activity out there, probably. At least top 3. Easily top 3. So, what? No, I think tabletop gaming is something else. But I'll get into it, because I think they would just put board games somewhere. Board games have to be up there. So we'll see. 11, trading card games. I recently, for the very first time, played Magic the Gathering with my kid brother Eric. For those of you who are wondering, I used the red deck. And for those of you who are wondering, I only use the red deck because I wanted to master it. It's fun. It's and also because the hero was the hottest, and that's why I kept using her. It's fun. It's interesting. I'm not a card guy. I have issues with cards. They kind of stress me out. I'd rather have like characters doing stuff, or I'd rather have, like somewhere where the geography. It makes sense. Oh, okay. Eric's saying that tabletop gaming is D&D. Okay. So why was D&D separate? Again, this list was made by fucking retards. So I'd rather have something where the geography matters. So like, again, let's say a simple one, Risk. You have to move around and it makes sense. And you have to plan your strategy. You have to move your troops and stuff. I enjoy that more. Like, obviously a little bit more complex than Risk, but I guess most people have played Risk, so they understand it a little bit better. Anyway, moving on. Number 10, we have binge watching TV shows. Well, fucking duh. It's probably like the number one thing that people who are fans, the people who geek out on something do. They just binge out what they watch. I can't tell you how many fucking times I've binge watched, I don't know, The Lord of the Rings, the extended editions, several times. You know why? Because it's fucking awesome. And usually, if you're on the level that you're geeking out on something, that means that you're kind of obsessed with it. That means that you probably fucking binge watched it if it's a show. So, again, whoever made this list is an idiot. Number 9, Star Wars. Star Wars is a hobby? Okay. It's a franchise. And there's a lot of things Star Wars related. Like, you can say binge watching Star Wars. Okay, I would accept that more than anything else. Like binge watching Star Wars stuff, playing Star Wars video games, whatever. Star Wars in general, it's a franchise. It's not a fucking hobby. Anyway, moving on. don't know how many. Like, all right, number 8, watching movies. That makes fucking sense, all right? Because you're actually doing something. It's a hobby. It's an activity. You're actually doing fucking something. So if you combine these two, watching movies and Star Wars, it makes a little bit of sense. Number 7, we have strategy games. Sure, like I said, I play Total War. I like strategy games. I recently got really into StarCraft because of for a buddy's bachelor party. He's actually a ranked StarCraft player, and so for his bachelor party, we did like a LAN party where we were going to be, playing StarCraft with him, and he basically kicked our fucking asses, and we did a whole thing. And so I started playing StarCraft too, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna finish this story so that I'm gonna finish the whole game so I can be mediocre at least at the LAN party. It didn't really work out because I didn't finish the game yet, and so afterwards, like, I still have to finish the game. So I just finished it. It's fun. It's enjoyable. I'm still more of a Total War guy, but it's fun. Unfortunately, I caught the bug. And so I finished StarCraft 2, and now it's like, well, I have Warcraft 3 Reforged right there. So now I'm in the middle of playing Warcraft 3, but we'll see. Because, again, I have Mass Effect sitting right fucking there. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, 6, we have pen and paper role-playing games. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is D&D once again, right? Pen and paper role-playing games is D&D, is tabletop games. So made by fucking retards. Moving on. Number 5, comic books. Yeah, reading comic books, definitely. Like the same principle as reading a manga. Definitely a hobby. I'd say it's probably, well, top 5. I was gonna say it was gonna be like top 3, but top 5 makes perfect sense. It's probably one of the. I think it's one of the defining geek activities. One of the OGs reading comic books, because a lot of people associated like reading comic books with being a geek. So sure, all right, definitely. Number 4, technology. How is technology a hobby? Just how? How's it a hobby? Making technology? Sure. Developing technology? Learning to use technology? Why is there a Tamcon commercial in the fucking screen? All right. Okay. Sure. It's actually, I think it's a diaper. What the fuck is that? See, this is what happens when you clear your browser history and all that stuff. You get a bunch of really weird shit. Next, so this one's just stupid. Technology. Go fuck yourselves. Number 3, board games. Thank you. Yes, board games are awesome. I have my board game crew. The game that we probably play the most is Twilight Imperium, 4th edition. Highly recommend it. It's a great game. It's kind of complicated, but it's awesome as fuck. I love it. It takes a really long time to play, but it is awesome. Most of the people who've played it have caught the bug, and so the crew keeps getting a little bit bigger. I also like the Game of Thrones board game. That's actually pretty cool. In that one, you actually fight with cards, but there's a map and all things. I like Battlestar Galactica. The Battlestar Galactica game is awesome because some of you are Cylons, but you don't really know it until a certain point of the game, and you don't know who to trust, or if you're still working together. What other game do I love? I love Firefly, the board game. That one's great. Oh, what else? Ooh, what would be my favorite among all of those? I think it's Twilight Imperium. Definitely. It's so awesome. It's again, it's a huge pain in the ass, but it's awesome. Next, number 2, we have fiction books. Okay, sure. Reading books, it's an activity, and I'm a fiction guy. I'd rather have a fictional book than anything else. So go. Okay, fantasy, sci-fi, sure, definitely. It's a hobby. People have that hobby, and it's good, and sure. And number 1, playing video games. Definitely. Video game industry is among the biggest industries in the world. I think right now, what is it? The video game industry makes more than TV, movies, the music industry, and what else? And something else combined. So it's a titan. It's out there, and it's only going to keep getting bigger and bigger. Especially during the pandemic, a lot of people played a lot of video games. It's a big industry, and it's a fun activity. You can do it with friends. Eric's upset that there's no hentai on the list, but I guess, there's hentai in fiction, there's hentai in manga, there's hentai in comic in manga. So there you go. And watching anime, it's also there. So don't put your panties in a bunch, Eric. So So yeah, definitely playing video games. It's the way of the future, man. It's the way of the future. And so that's it. Dude, that was exhausting. That was exhausting mainly because of how fucking terrible this rankings was. Because most of these things don't make any fucking sense. And again, karaoke should have been way up there. So there you go. That's it. Hopefully you enjoyed that. I'm burning up here. I need to open up the window or something. But that is it for today. As always, any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Dario the Show on Instagram and at Super Dario World. Streaming on YouTube and on Twitch Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 p.m. ish. I'm exhausted, man. Like Monday is a double for me. I'm dead. So I'm gonna spend the rest of the Geek Pride Day celebrating it by taking a nap. Then maybe I'll crack open a beer and continue watching Castlevania. So if I finish watching Castlevania, I'll do a review tomorrow. If not, I don't know. We'll see. There's a bunch of stuff I need to talk about still that there's a bunch of news I missed from over the week. So there you go. As always, thank you for listening, and I'll see you again next time.
We'll be right back.